All praise and glory to the Most High. Hey, hey, hey. All right, what's going on, everybody? All right, I'm gonna do this video is about birth certificate authentication. For those of you who are interested in that information, I'll break that down for you. Make a short video about that. Break that down for you. Also, real quick, I wanted to touch on. I did a video a couple of days ago about the 10 maxims of commercial law, right? And I told you I had an affidavit that I like to use for an example, so I wanted to show you that real quick, and the link for that will be in the description box, okay, for you to pull that up. Now, let me make this disclaimer in light of the past couple of days. I want to make this perfectly clear. It is not my affidavit. Again, I like using the affidavit for an example to show because it deals with multiple things. So remember, just to touch on maxim number 4. Truth is expressed in the form of an affidavit. Okay? Hopefully you got downloaded a copy of these, and so on and so forth. But again, maxim number 4, the truth is expressed in the form of an affidavit in commercial law. Okay. Number 5, an unrebutted affidavit stands as truth in commerce. And number 6, an unrebutted affidavit becomes a judgment in commerce. Okay. All right. So that's that. So let me pull this up. Okay. I do have this downloaded myself. I made copies of it. I believe this is 13 pages. Now, Aboriginal and Indigenous Natural People of North America Affidavit of Fact. Okay. Exercise of Constitution, Secured Right, Treaty, Natural Rights, and Universal Laws. All right. That is the name of the person. I believe this person is a Washita Mer. Okay? All right? So I'm not going to read the whole thing. That's for you to do, because you're going to be a responsible individual and fact check this information. But I just wanted to show it to you. And I just wanted to show you this portion of it right here. That didn't work out. PDF. Okay, what does it say here? All right. Enclosed are documents attesting to my nationality, citizenship, name correction, revoked power of attorney, affidavit of truth, fact, right to travel, submitted in lieu of application to renounce/relinquish citizenship. Okay? So, again, I just like to use this as an example because it deals with this individual dealt with multiple things. All right. So just to give you an idea, what does it say? Aboriginal, Indigenous, Natural People of North America. All right. Affidavit of citizenship/nationality. Exercise of natural rights and universal laws. Okay, I'll just read a little bit. I am Dendera, Cherokee Washita Brothers. The undersigned do hereby declare under oath the following facts pertaining to my citizenship, nationality, and residency status. I am a sovereign Native American. I declared sovereignty on July 4th, 2011, and relinquished U.S. citizenship, which is implied by use of a social security card, voter registration, passport, etc., on June 27th, 2011. I am Cherokee, Iroquois, and Washita Moor heritage. My land has been commandeered by the United States, a corporation, U.S., USA, and their international partners. Both the individuals residing there and their land have been placed under the authority of the United States government, the corporation, via the Bureau of Indian Affairs within the Department of Interior. Okay, I am stateless and live in the city of Oslo of the country of Norway. Since April 2011, Norway is an original signatories of the United Nations Convention to Statelessness, treaty to protect stateless individuals. Prior to the aforementioned date, I lived in the landmass of New York in the northern Amexem. All right, I'm gonna leave it at that. So again, go over this. I'll leave the link in the description box, and you can look over this yourself. And again, it is not my affidavit. I only like to use it as an example. You can get it off the internet. I like to use it as an example because it deals with multiple things. Again, truth, maxim number 4, truth is expressed in the form of an affidavit. This is an affidavit, all right? Okay. A lot of these things, as far as correcting your status, you can do on your own, providing you properly format them and do them correctly, okay? Again, this is just for educational purposes, just as an example for you to see, for those of you who may not be familiar with what an affidavit looks like. Here it is, all right? That's that. Okay, moving on. Now we want to, for those of you who are interested in authenticating your birth certificate for the purposes of travel, all right? This is for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, all right? Excuse me. Okay, so I got my birth certificate authenticated because I, Gavar Yahu Haya Yisrael, am going to travel outside of the 10 by 10 square mile parcel known as the U.S. I am going to travel outside of that. Okay? And I am going to a country that is not part of the Hague Convention. Okay? And that country is Bolivia. And the reason why I'm going to travel to that country, Bolivia, which is not a part of the Hague Convention, is because it is in the Americas. Okay? All right. So, this is what the, okay, this is, now, let me explain, excuse me. Okay, so what you want to do is get, again, this is for travel purposes. What you want to do is get a certified copy of your birth certificate. Okay. Some people may call it the long form, or some of you may know it as the long form, but what you want to get is either the certified copy or the long form of your birth certificate. And that is the copy. They have two. They got the certified copy and they got the informational copy. You don't want the informational copy, you want the certified copy. That is, again, the long form. That has all your information on there, okay? Of course, it'll say certified copy. See that? All right? Depending on what state you live in, what republic, country you live in, you know, you might be able to get it from different offices, you know, the Office of Vital Statistics, maybe some states, republics, Commonwealth, you can get it from the DMV, you know, Secretary of State. I got mine from the county I was born in the republic that I was born in, okay? All right, so you want to get you a certified copy. Now, it's just a suggestion because I suggest you get at least 2 copies. And I'll tell you why. Because once they authenticate it, okay, you cannot separate these pages, or else it will become null and void, as I understand it. Again, you can fact check that for yourself. So they attach, this, you send it off to the. Once you get your certified copies, you either go through the walk-in service in the state, republic, or commonwealth you were born in. Okay. You can do the walk-in service, or you can mail it in. All right. So I'll show you that. Okay. So they attach. This is the state authentication right here, and this is, the federal authentication. All right, this is what the feds do. See that? All right, so you cannot separate that, or again, it is no good. So that's why I suggest you might want to get 2 copies. That way you have your authenticated copy, and then you have a second copy for yourself. All right, just in case you may need to use it for another purpose later on down the road. All right. Okay, so that's your certified copy. Now I'm going to show you what all right, now get your certified copy, right? Okay, depending on what state you live in, you just go online, go to your the Secretary of State, and look up birth certificate authentications for whatever state or commonwealth or republic you live in. You should be able to find that information easily. So this is, all right. Now, I'm going to show you one for the state of California. Excuse me. Now, this is what's called the Great Seal authentication, because they put the Great Seal on here. Okay? All right? That's the authenticated. This is your Great Seal authentication. Now, just so you know, because I got mine from California, if you mail yours in, depending on what location, they use a outside service, apostille, am I pronouncing that correctly? Apostille service. All right, so I just want to make you aware of that. So you have the option to walk in or mail it in. I mailed mine in. So just so you're aware. Okay. So this is what the state authentication looks like. And again, the reason why it doesn't look the same as this is because the location I sent it in was in Sacramento, and they use an outside service, an apostille service. Okay. So, and down here is the Great Seal. Okay. And it also says this certificate does not constitute an apostille under the Hague Convention. All right. Because I had it authenticated for a country that is not a part of the Hague Convention. All right, so it says that. So if you run into this situation, don't freak out. Just make sure this certificate does not constitute an apostille under the Hague Convention of October 5th, 1961, when it is presented in a country which is not a party to the convention. In such cases, the certificate should be presented to the consular section of the mission representing the country. Okay? All right? So that is, because they use an outside service, that is the Great Seal Authentication. Okay? All right? Now, if you walk in, this is probably what you will get. All right? So then you would mail that off to whatever state you were born in. Like I said, they should give you, you should have the option to either walk in if you still live in your state you were born in, or you can mail it in. All right. So what you're going to do is, in my particular case, I had to, in my particular case, I had to use a cover letter to request. Now, this is just an example of a cover letter I did. It's real basic, real simple. In this, I'm just showing you an example. I actually have the address for the federal authentication on here, but basically, I just put my name, phone number, email address, the address, home address, the date I mailed it out. In this particular case, it would be the whatever the address is to the state you're sending it to, the state office. And then basically, birth certificate authentication. All right, so this is actually how much it costs for the federal authentication. So I enclosed this one birth certificate to be authenticated for the country of Bolivia, a money order for the $8, which for the feds, it costs $8, which I'll show you that in a minute, and a self-addressed prepaid return mailing envelope. All right, now you want to send a flat mailer because you want to send it out flat and you want it returned flat. So basically all you would do is when you go, and by the way, FedEx, all right, does not deliver to P.O. boxes. In these cases, when you send this, when you mail it in, you're dealing with P.O. boxes. So you're going to want to go with the post office, okay? So basically what you're going to do is go to the post office or however you want to do it and get your, you're going to pay for a package to mail it. Then you're going to put the prepaid, your birth certificate, your cover letter if you need to put a cover letter in there, the money order. You don't want to put it in the return envelope. Okay, you want to put it on top of the return envelope. All right. You got your birth certificate, you got your cover letter, and the money order. All right. Then you're going to put that in the mailing envelope and mail it out. Then they will authenticate it, put it back in your mailing or the prepaid mailing envelope, and send it back to you. And again, you have the option to whether or not you can do regular mail or express. It's up to you. All right. So then, once you get it back from the state, authenticated, then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take this, your birth certificate. It's attached to your birth certificate. Do not detach it. Okay? You're going to take that and do the same thing and send it to the feds. All right? Once again, I'll show you federal authentication. And that's what the Fed authentication looks like. Okay? See? All right. Basically, it says United States of America, Department of State, to all to whom these precincts shall come, greetings. I certify that the documents hereunto annexed is under the seal of the state of California, and that such seal is/are entitled to full faith and credit. For the contents of the next document, the department assumes no responsibility. This certificate is not valid if it is removed or altered in any way whatsoever. Right? It's signed by the Secretary of State. So this is a fully authenticated document now. Okay? All right. So basically, again, you're gonna take your authenticated birth certificate from the state, do the same thing, put it in a mailing, include a mailing envelope, prepaid mailing envelope, cover letter, okay? And then, now this is the cover letter I actually did for the feds. And so, again, enclosed is one birth certificate to be authenticated for the country of Bolivia, a money order for $8, and a self-addressed prepaid return mailing envelope. Sincerely yours, signing. All right. So that's that. If anybody needs assistance in this simple cover letter, just let me know. Type you one up. All right. So that's that. And here is the Office of Authentications. All right. So this is the Fed website for the authentications. All right. There's the address. All right. It's going to Sterling, Virginia. All right. And it authentication requirements, requesting authentication services, authentication fees. All right. Down here it has the information on the Hague Convention. You might want to familiarize yourself with that information. All right. Again, we are traveling outside of the U.S. to a country, or I am traveling outside of the U.S. to a country that is not a part of the Hague Convention, Bolivia. And the reason I'm going to Bolivia is because I'm traveling in the Americas. Okay. All right. So it gives you the information if you walk in, if you just happen to be in Sterling, Virginia, or the mail information. So you can look that up. I have the link in the description box. Okay. That's that. Now, once again, the reason you're getting your birth certificate authenticated is for purposes for travel. All right. Now, perhaps later on down the road, you want to use it for another purpose. Right? Perhaps maybe you might want to take ownership of it. Perhaps you might want to operate as a private person and operate out of a trust. And perhaps you might want to put it in a trust. Got over here 28 U.S. Code 1733, government records and papers. This will be in the description box for you as well. Go down to B, properly authenticated copies or transcripts of any books, records, papers, or documents of any department or agency of the United States shall be admitted in evidence equally with the originals thereof. Okay? So, your certified copy, even though it's certified, it would not be considered or treated as the original. It would be treated as a fake, depending on what purposes you use it for. The certified copy is good for getting a job, getting your driver's license, things of that nature. But perhaps, again, you might want to, later on down the road, put it in a trust, maybe attach a affidavit of beneficial ownership to it, things of that nature. Who knows? It's already authenticated, right? Right? Because you're going to travel, you got it authenticated for travel purposes. All right? And according to this, properly authenticated copies or transcripts of any books, records, papers, or documents of any department or agency of the United States shall be admitted in evidence equally with the originals thereof. All right? Just something to think about. It's another piece to the puzzle to keep to the side. That's all. All right? That'll be in the description, and the link will be in the description box as well. All right? So there you go. That's birth certificate authentication. All right? So I went over that. That's what the authentication looks like from the feds. That's what the authentication looks like from the state. Again, this will be in the this link will be in the description box as well. These are all the non-Hague Convention countries. See, the following countries are non-members of the Hague Apostille Convention, and any documents destined for these countries will receive a certification from the state office. Please note that some of the countries listed below may require additional legalization by a consulate or embassy office. All right, so this is actually an international apostille service. All right, and you should be able to, have all the information about Hague and non-Hague countries. In this particular case, as I said, I myself am traveling to the country of Bolivia. All right, because again, I'm traveling outside of the U.S. 10 by 10 square mile parcel that sits between Virginia and Maryland. I am traveling outside of the U.S. to a country that is not a part of the Hague Convention, Bolivia, because I am traveling within the Americas. All right? Okay. All right, so all that information will be in the description box. And again, you're getting your birth certificate authenticated for travel purposes. And like I said, perhaps later on down the road, you may want to use it for something else. You already have it authenticated. All right, so there's your loan form. All right, so I'll have all that information in there. So anyways, all right, make sure, if that is a route you want to go, dealing with these affidavits, again, you can just, I have the link for this in the box for you. You can look this up for yourself, familiarize yourself with the information, Again, be a responsible individual, fact check that information, make sure you understand the information, and again, may you be successful on your road to status correction. All right. All praise and glory to the Most High Hague. Let me give a couple of shout outs. Want to shout out Lex Will, Education Center. Want to shout out my sister in Maryland. Want to shout out my sister in Texas. Want to shout out all the truthers, everybody out there that's doing their due diligence, putting in that work, trying to educate our people so they can put themselves in their right persona. Thank you for everything you do. And I also want to send a special shout out to Chief Nanya Shabu Il. All right, for those of you who want to be commercially white, he's your man. All right, all praise and glory to the Most High. Hey, 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 hey.